This ginger ale tastes extra good tonight, boss.
You only say that when you're thinking about something heavy.
You got me. I heard something wild about parents picking their future baby, and my brain will not let it go.
All right, that does sound like a late-night topic for this place.
Someone used the phrase designer babies and then they shifted to a disease-free future, and I realized I do not really know what either of those actually mean.
You're wondering if those phrases describe the same dream or two very different futures.
Exactly. Is it about saving kids from awful illnesses, or is it more like ordering a custom character in a game, but the character is your child?
Let us start simple and build up from there, that way your head and your ginger ale stay in one piece.
Deal. Explain it like I am sitting right here, which I am, and also like I barely remember high school biology, which I barely do.
Fair enough. First, picture your body as a library full of instruction books.
Okay, a huge library full of tiny books. That is a little spooky, but I am with you.
Each book is a molecule we call DNA, and every line in that book is what we call a gene.
So a gene is just a line in the instruction book that tells the body how to do one small thing.
Exactly. One gene might help decide your eye color, another might help your blood carry oxygen, another might help your brain grow.
And sometimes the line in the book has a typo, right?
Yes, sometimes the typo does nothing important at all, and sometimes it causes a serious disease.
So when people talk about gene editing, they mean fixing the typos in those books.
That is the hope. We have tools now that can open the book, find one line and change a letter in it.
What is that thing called again, the one everyone keeps talking about?
You are thinking of CRISPR. It is a tool that acts like very small scissors guided by a very small navigation system.
So that tool flies through the library, finds one sentence, and snips it.
That is the basic idea, and newer tools can sometimes swap letters without cutting the whole sentence in half.
So where does the baby part come in? Because so far this sounds like editing grown-up bodies.
You're on point. We have to talk about two very different targets, the cells in a person who already exists and the cells that will start a new person.
I feel like this is where the story gets scary.
It gets serious. At least let me give you the two key words you will hear in this debate.
Okay, hit me gently with them.
Somatic and germline. They sound technical, but the idea is simple.
Somatic sounds like something to do with the body.
Exactly right. A somatic edit is when we edit cells in a person who is already born.
So that is like treating a disease in a patient.
Yes, we change some cells in your blood or your eyes or your liver, but those changes do not pass on to your children.
So the script in the kid's library stays untouched if you only edit somatic cells.
Perfect way to say it. The second word is germline.
That one sounds more intense.
Germline edits are changes made in eggs, sperm, or embryos before a baby is born.
So that new script gets copied into every cell of the baby and into their future kids too.
Yes, that is why it is such a big deal. Germline edits do not just touch one life, they touch a family line.
So when people say designer babies, they are mostly talking about germline edits.
Exactly, they are talking about changing the starting script for a human being before they have any say in the matter.
And the disease-free future part sounds more like somatic edits, where you fix something in someone who is sick.
It can mean that, but some people also imagine a disease-free future with germline edits too, by erasing certain mutations from family trees.
Erase is such a strong word. It makes me think of delete buttons and people.
You're feeling the emotional weight of it, and that is very healthy.
Do we actually have real-world examples, or is this still science fiction?
Most of the real work so far is on somatic editing, treating people who already exist, and there are real patients whose lives have changed because of that.
That part sounds hopeful, like finally fixing the root problem instead of just managing symptoms forever.
There was also one famous case that crossed the line into germline editing, and it shook the world.
I am guessing this is not a happy story.
A researcher announced that he had edited embryos that were later brought to term and born as children.
So they were the first actual edited babies.
That is right. He said the goal was to protect them from a virus that had affected their family.
That sounds kind of noble at first glance, but I am guessing there was a catch.
There were many catches. The consent was questionable, the medical need was arguable, and the safety was uncertain.
So he rolled the dice with real children and with everyone who might come after them.
Yes, and he did it while the wider scientific community was still saying, we are not ready for clinical germline editing.
How did people react?
There was outrage from scientists, ethicists, and the public. Many people who support gene therapy still called it irresponsible.
So he forced the world into a future it was still arguing about.
Exactly.
It was less a breakthrough and more a warning, like someone driving a new car straight through a safety barrier.
What happened to the children?
They have been kept very private, which is understandable, and there are still many unknowns about their long-term health.
That part really gets to me. They never chose this, and they are the ones who carry the risk in their bodies every single day.
That feeling you have right now is at the center of many ethical arguments about germline editing.
Because the person who lives with the edit cannot ever rewind it.
Exactly, and it is not only about them, it is about any children they may have one day.
So the big question is whether we are allowed to gamble with someone else's future like that even when we mean well.
That is one of the big questions, and the other is what counts as meaning well.
Right, is it only okay when you are fighting something clearly terrible, like a deadly disease?
Many people draw an important line between therapy and enhancement.
Therapy meaning you are fixing something that is broken, and enhancement meaning you are adding extras.
Yes, therapy is about preventing or curing serious disease. Enhancement is about boosting traits like height, strength, or maybe even memory and focus.
My stomach tightens at the idea of upgrade packages for babies.
You're not alone. Surveys usually show that many people support editing to prevent serious illness, but are very uneasy about editing for non-medical traits.
I guess therapy says I want my child to have a fair chance at a normal life, and enhancement sounds more like I want my child to beat everyone else.
That is a powerful way to put it. One is about leveling the field, the other is about raising your own starting line.
So the disease-free future side focuses on therapy, but the designer baby fear is all about enhancement.
Yes, though the line between them is not always as sharp as we would like.
Because you could start by saying we only fix deadly things, and then later you add things that are just very inconvenient, and then it slides from there.
Exactly, it can move step by step from obvious medical need into quality of life, then into preference, then into status.
That slow slide freaks me out more than a sudden jump. It is easier to miss.
History shows we are very good at telling ourselves stories that make the next step sound harmless.
Okay, pause. I need some hope soon, otherwise I will never sleep again.
Let us sit with the hopeful side for a bit, because there is real kindness in this technology too.
I want to hear that, because part of me also thinks if we can stop pain and suffering, how could we not use the tool?
Imagine a family where several children have died young from the same inherited disease.
That already hurts to picture, but I can see them.
The parents know that any future pregnancy could carry the same mutation,
And they live with that fear.
So every positive test is mixed joy and terror at once.
Gene editing offers at least a vision where we could correct the mutation in embryos before pregnancy or in children before the disease takes hold.
That is huge. That is not about making some perfect super kid. That is about giving a child the chance to live long enough to laugh and grow up.
Many ethicists and religious thinkers feel that kind of work can be a form of compassion, as long as dignity and safety are respected.
So not everyone who is religious is against this kind of thing.
Not at all. Many traditions say caring for the sick and using knowledge to heal are good and even sacred actions.
But then they worry again when the goal becomes perfection instead of healing.
Exactly. There is a difference between preventing suffering and chasing some fantasy of a flawless human.
It is kind of ironic, because human love is usually deepest when we accept that people are not perfect.
That is a wise observation in a jazz bar, I must say.
So if you ask parents who have lost a child to a genetic disease, a lot of them would probably say yes. If there was a safe way to fix the gene, please do it.
Yes, many would, and it is hard to argue with the desire to spare a child a life of pain or a very early death.
It feels almost cruel to say no in that situation.
The tension you feel between the wish to cure and the fear of changing too much is exactly why this topic is so hard.
So what worries people on the disease prevention side apart from safety?
One big worry is that we might start sending messages about which lives are worth living.
You mean like saying the world would be better if people with certain conditions did not exist at all?
Yes, people living with disabilities often hear that kind of message in these debates, even when no one means to send it.
That must feel like being told your whole existence is a mistake that future generations should correct.
Exactly, and that is deeply painful, because many people say their life has meaning even with or because of their challenges.
So trying to reduce suffering in future families can accidentally insult people who are alive right now.
That is why respectful conversation with disability communities is so important in this field.
I never thought about it that way. I feel a bit embarrassed that I did not.
Learning to see new angles is part of wisdom, and you are doing it in real time.
Okay, so there is the pain of disease and the pain of feeling unwanted, and both are real, and somehow we are weighing them against each other.
And on top of that, we stack questions of fairness and money.
Ah yes, here comes the inequality chapter.
Picture a world where editing embryos for health or enhancement is very expensive.
So only rich families can afford the safest and most advanced edits.
Right, their children might start life with fewer genetic risks and perhaps some extra advantages too.
Meanwhile, everyone else just hopes for good luck and basic care.
Over time, that gap can harden. You get not only economic classes, but genetic classes.
Like a quiet kind of genetic caste system, no official labels but a real split.
Science fiction stories have played with the idea for years because it feels possible, not just dramatic.
It sounds like taking the unfairness we already have with schools and hospitals and freezing it into DNA.
That is the fear that inequality moves from the outside world into the code of our bodies.
If that happens, it would be so hard to undo, because you cannot pass a law that just rewinds everyone's genes.
Exactly, once traits are spread through family lines, you cannot easily roll them back.
This is where the designer baby image gets extra ugly, because it is not just taste, it is privilege.
And then you add history to the mix, which is rarely gentle in this area.
You are thinking about eugenics, right?
Yes, there have been times when governments try to control who could have children in the name of improving the population.
Those stories never end well, they always turn into cruelty dressed up as science.
Exactly, and many people fear that genetic editing, if misused, could become a new tool for old prejudices.
Like someone deciding certain faces or bodies or minds are less desirable and using technology to slowly push them out of the picture.
That is why phrases like designer babies can sound so cold. They echo a time when some people were treated as design flaws.
It feels wrong because a child is not a product. That should not be a controversial sentence.
You would hope so, but the way we talk about perfection and success can sometimes drift toward product language.
Like when people brag about their gene pool as if it was a luxury brand.
Yes, or when people talk about future children as investments and status symbols.
So the nightmare version is a world where your worth is measured like a score made from your genetic stats.
And you know how humans are with scores, we love to rank and judge.
So let me try to summarize in my own words, just to see if I am getting it.
Go for it, I am listening.
On one side, we have a real chance to prevent some of the most heartbreaking genetic diseases, which feels like an act of love.
Yes.
On the other side, we have risks of harm to the child, risks of disrespect to people who share those traits now, and the danger of new unfair systems and old prejudices in a shiny new form.
That is a strong summary. Well done.
So when people say disease-free future, I hear the dream of healing, and when they say designer babies, I hear the fear that we might forget what makes each person unique and valuable.
You have caught the emotional core of the debate as well as the technical one.
Where do ethics and values really enter this, besides the things we have kind of touched?
Different groups bring different moral languages, but many of them share a few basic questions.
Like what?
One is consent. Can you justify changing something so deep for a person who cannot agree or disagree?
That links back to the babies and their future children.
Another is justice, who will benefit and who might be left behind.
And another is harm, both physical harm from unknown side effects and social harm from stigma.
Some also ask about humility. They ask how much power humans can safely hold over the design of life.
That word hits me, humility, because it is easy to get carried away by what we can do and forget to ask if we should.
Exactly. Some people talk about playing God, others talk about respecting nature, others talk about limits to human wisdom. All of them are trying to draw a boundary.
But at the same time, if we have a tool that can stop a child from suffering, there is a different kind of moral weight in refusing to use it.
Yes, some argue that not using a safe and well-tested therapy can also be a moral failure.
So we are pulled between the duty to protect and the duty to be careful.
That is the tightrope, and there is no perfectly comfortable position on it.
Do you think there will ever be a time when germline editing for disease is widely accepted?
If that happens, it will likely be slow and cautious, starting with rare and very serious conditions under strict rules and only after long debate.
And probably different countries will draw lines in different places.
Yes, culture, history, religion, and politics all shape how societies answer these questions.
So there will not be one global answer, more like a patchwork of different thresholds.
At least for a long time, there may be efforts to agree on some minimum standards, especially about safety and consent.
Where do you personally draw the line, boss?
I support careful work on somatic therapies that help people who are already facing serious disease.
So you are on board with fixing typos in the existing library when someone is suffering?
Yes, with good oversight and honesty about risks, I think that can be a good use of our knowledge.
And for germline edits?
I believe we should hold a very firm line for now, limited to research that does not lead to pregnancy, until safety, consent, and social impacts are much better understood.
So no designer babies and no clinical germline edits yet in your book?
That is right, especially no enhancements. We are not just fixing typos, we are rewriting whole paragraphs and pretending we know exactly what they will do.
And we really do not know, even when we pretend we do.
Our knowledge of genetics is deep, but still full of gaps. Many traits are shaped by hundreds of genes and by the environment around them.
Like intelligence or personality, there is no single gene for being good at jazz or kind to strangers.
Exactly. Trying to design a perfect personality through gene edits would be like trying to compose a full symphony by changing 3 random notes.
I like that this is the jazz bar and you still found a way to flatter symphonies.
We have room for all genres here as long as the timing is good.
So if you and I ever had kids, which is not a hint by the way, and someone offered us a menu of edits, what would you say?
I would ask first about the health of the child without any edits, and I would ask if there is a clear and serious disease we can prevent safely.
And if there was such a disease and the edit was really proven safe?
Then I would listen very carefully, and I might say yes, not because I want a perfect child, but because I would not want to watch them suffer if I had a real chance to stop it.
And if they offered better height, perfect memory, ideal body type, extra charm?
There I would say no, because at that point I am not protecting them, I am projecting my own fears and ambitions onto their DNA.
I guess part of loving someone is letting them surprise you, not pre-writing every trait.
Beautifully said. The people we love are interesting and precious partly because they are not under our control.
When I was a teenager, I used to joke that I wished my parents had ordered me with more confidence and a faster metabolism.
I suspect they would say they like you exactly as you are at this counter.
I hope so, but it is strange. Hearing all this makes me more grateful for my own random mix of genes.
Gratitude is a good place to land after a conversation like this.
So when I hear the phrase designer babies now, I will remember that it is less about fashion and more about deep questions of power, love, and fairness.
And when you hear disease-free future, you'll remember both the promise to relieve pain and the need to honor people who live with those conditions today.
Yeah, it is like both phrases are incomplete without the other.
That is why the world needs long, slow conversations, not just headlines and slogans.
I am glad my long, slow conversation happens with ginger ale and piano and you.
The feeling is mutual. Your questions keep this place alive.
I should probably let you close up soon. It is getting late and I have given you at least 3 major ethical headaches.
You have given me one thoughtful customer, and that is more than enough.
Thank you for walking through this with me, boss.
Anytime, Claire. Get home safe tonight.
Good night, see you soon.
Good night.
All right, it is really late. I should head home now. Wait a second, I just realized my wallet is not in my bag. I am pretty sure I left it on my desk at home and now I am seriously stuck. There is my empty ginger ale glass sitting right in front of me and I have no way to pay for it. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but I am going to ask you something. You, sitting here at the counter with me, would you please cover this ginger ale for me tonight? I know we have not spoken directly until now, but I promise I have noticed you listening so quietly this whole time. I saw you staying with us through the heavy parts and the gentle parts, and I really hope some of it was helpful or comforting. If any piece of this conversation gave you a new way to think about life or made you feel a little less alone, would you consider helping me out? Thank you so much. I knew you were kind. I could feel it from the way you stayed with us. If you would like to treat me to that ginger ale, you can use the QR code in the bottom right corner of the video. You can also use the link in the description to send a little support. While you are there, it would mean a lot if you tap like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment about what stayed with you from tonight. In the description you will also find links to other series that are very different from this one, but I think you might enjoy exploring them too. Thank you again for staying until the very end and for keeping me company tonight. Take care, get some rest, and I hope we meet again at this counter very soon.